When I moved to this country from South America at age 12, there was a lot to learn. New foods, new ideas, new words. Some were easily translated, and others were pure American inventions. One of the terms I learned was the term Jewish peoplehood. Now let me ask you, how do you translate Jewish peoplehood into another language, into Hebrew or Spanish or French? Anybody? If you don't have an answer, it's because there isn't one. Jewish peoplehood is an American invention. The term was coined and became really popular in the 20th century in America to speak of Jews as a civilization with shared history and culture and religion. The term was always vague, broad, and ill-defined. In fact, scholars argue that the term became really popular because it was so ambiguous, because it allowed Jews to speak of themselves as a group, even while the ideology of an American melting pot was so predominant. But October 7th and the anti-Semitism we have seen since demands from us that we make sure we know what we mean when we say Jewish peoplehood. So I want to offer one word, one Hebrew word that I believe gets to the heart and the essence of Jewish peoplehood. Mishpacha, family. Or as I've learned to say in Ashkenazi American Hebrew, mishpacha, okay? I did it right? Mishpacha, still working on it. What does it mean that Jewish peoplehood is mishpacha? Shortly after the Holocaust and the establishment of the State of Israel, Rabbi Soloveitchik asked a question. Are we still a Jewish people? With all of our dispersion, our diversity, Reform, Orthodox, Conservative, Sephardic, Ashkenazi, religious, secular, can we still say that we are one people? To answer this, Rabbi Soloveitchik returned to an old Talmudic question. The rabbis asked, what if a man with two heads, walks into the Bet Midrash, the house of study? Is it one man or two men? One person or two? Do they receive one portion of inheritance or two? For the lawyers in the room, should they file taxes once or twice? To answer this question, Rabbi Soloveitchik said, we can do a test. Take a pot of boiling water. Pour it on one of the heads. Then watch the other one. If it cries out in pain, then it is one person. If we cry out in pain for each other, then our Jewish peoplehood is mishpacha. But this is not just a metaphor. On the morning of October 7th, a man called Elchanan Kalmanson woke up to the horrific news coming out of southern Israel. He called up his brother Menachem, his nephew Itiel, and they drove from their home in their West Bank settlement of Otniel over 60 miles to Kibbutz Be'eri. Under fire from Hamas, they went from house to house and rescued family after family from brutal death. But some families did not want to open their doors of their safe rooms. They were afraid this was a trap. So Elchanan tried doing different things to convince them he was there to save them. He sang Simchat Torah songs. Not everyone knew them. So then Elchanan cried out ancient and sacred words that have been woven into the fabric of Jewish life throughout our history. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. When families heard these words, they opened their doors and they were saved. Tragically, Elchanan was killed, but not before he helped save 100 precious lives from Kibbutz Be'eri. I want you to think about that moment. A religious Zionist man on one side of the door, secular kibbutznikim on the other. They did not worship the same way. They did not vote the same way. They did not live the same way. But in that moment, they remembered the essence of what it means to be a Jew. And they recognized each other as brothers and sisters, as mishpacha. They did so using the very same words that our ancestor Jacob used on his deathbed to remind his children that despite all their disagreements and divisions, at the end of the day, they are brothers. The pain that we've experienced as a people on October 7th has reminded all of us that we are mishpacha. That is why we feel the pain of Jews we have never met from Amsterdam to Paris. That is why so many of you in this room have moved heavens and earth to help Israeli Jews thousands of miles away. That is why our hearts break, our voices cry out, and we will not stop advocating for our hostages who are still held in brutal captivity by Hamas. But as time goes on, we might be at risk of reverting back to that vague, ambiguous Jewish peoplehood. So it is up to us, over 2,000 of us from diverse backgrounds in this room. It is up to us to make sure that we remain committed to a vision of Jewish peoplehood as mishpacha. Let me tell you, we can have a broad and inclusive Jewish community filled with diversity and disagreements. We are so good at disagreements. Filled with diversity and disagreements, a broad and inclusive Jewish community without giving up on our solidarity and commitment to our mishpacha. Because Jewish peoplehood, mishpacha, it is the secret to our eternal survival. It is the foundation for Israel's existence today and its future tomorrow. And it is the thread that connects us, American Jews, to each other and to Jews around the world. Let us, each of us, recommit today to make sure that we continue to be guided by this vision of mishpacha and breathe new life, breathe new spirit into the soul of our mishpacha here in this country, across our communities and around the world. Thank you.